It's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Wacky Wednesday on ZiFM Sport. It's not the stories, it's usually the music. And we've got two musical interludes, the power play that gets the show going, and then halfway we've got our play of the day. And this week, of course, we're giving you music from Muzansi, the music of TKZ. What can you look forward to on today's show? Well, there is plenty. Newly appointed Zimbabwe Warriors coach Zdravko Logarusic has tipped Ghana to win Group G of 22 Qatar World Cup qualifiers ahead of the Warriors, South Africa and Ethiopia before he has even officially begun his tenure with the team. It'll be interesting to find out the thoughts of the in-studio team. That is Mark Pozzo, Barry Manandi, Alois Munjira. My name is Mike Madoda, and our producer behind the desk is Sean Tafirenyika.
And in our international sport, an unbeaten century from veteran batsman Ross Taylor powered New Zealand to a stunning 4-wicket win over India in Hamilton in the first match of their one-day series this morning.
In around the world in 60, we begin in Buenos Aires, where the Hurricanes are preparing to take on the Jaguares, but took some time to hit back at Stormers coach John Dobson, who criticized their tactics in their loss this past weekend. In news from Belgrade, world number one Novak Djokovic admits he is now prioritizing Grand Slams after winning his 8th Australian Open. And in Texas, the Houston Rockets are reported to be involved in a 4-team, 12-player deal before trade deadline day.
The beautiful game is in the second half of the show. We kick off in Spain, where the fallout from Valverde's dismissal continues, and Lionel Messi has publicly called out Barcelona sporting director Eric Abidal, challenging him to name names and accusing him of tarnishing the player's reputation. In England, Jurgen Klopp has sent messages of congratulations after Liverpool's youngest ever side beat Shrewsbury 1-0 in their FA Cup 4th round replay. In Germany, Borussia Dortmund manager Lucien Favre has been blamed for the team's loss to Werder Bremen after opting not to start informed striker Erling Haaland in their DFB Pokal round of 16 encounter. And in Italy, Lazio have an opportunity to climb above Inter Milan on the Serie A table if they beat mid-table side Hellas Verona.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Lots of really good stories on today's edition of ZiFM Sport, and you can be part of the conversation by sending your thoughts, your views on our WhatsApp platform 0731 168 045. That's 0731 168 045. You can also have the conversation with us on Twitter. Follow and interact with @ZiFM Sport. And if you do know someone who's missing the show, tell them they can always find highlights and the full show itself on our YouTube channel. Simply search for @ZiFM Sport. Now, newly appointed Zimbabwe Warriors coach Zdravko Logarusic has tipped Ghana to win Group G of the 2022 Qatar World Cup qualifiers ahead of the Warriors, South Africa's Bafana Bafana and Ethiopia before he has officially begun his tenure with the team. The 54-year-old Croatian was a surprise appointment by ZIFA for the country's hottest coaching seat when he was announced at a press conference in Harare last week. He's quoted as saying, "I could not talk as a supporter, I must talk as a coach. Ghana has many quality players who play much bigger games than against South Africa and the rest. So in the group, Ghana is absolute favorite. We have to fight for position number 2 because Ghana is definitely likely to finish first," he added. Now, we caught up with the Hero Sports editor Robson Sharuko, who says the Warriors have a chance against Ghana.
In the 2006 AFCON finals, Ghana had a very, very strong team that was going to the World Cup. they competed against Zimbabwe, and we beat them 2-1 on the neutral field of Egypt. So in football, it's not about exactly what happens in those 90 minutes. It's about how you prepare, and our preparations haven't been what we expect from our national team. So in terms of the players that we have, I think we don't have the star players to talk about, the real world stars. But in terms of making a team, I think we've got a fair team, a competitive team, and we have shown that when we do really focus on the game, we can go to such tough places like Kinshasa and come back with a result. So that should help us confront the challenges that we face in these World Cup qualifiers. And I think if we get our preparations right, if we get our mentality right, and if we don't spoil what is a fair chance of us doing very well against these teams, I think we can compete against these teams.
Z.
Well, Robson Sharuko talking about preparations, that the preparations must be right, and if we prepare right, we can challenge Ghana for qualification to the next round of World Cup qualifiers. But look, Garisic Alois Bunjira says no, we're battling out with Bafana for position number 2, effectively meaning that he reckons we can't qualify for the World Cup.
It's crazy, if you ask me. He's crazy, and I was very excited about his appointment. Remember, I was very excited, and now I'm changing my mind. I'm actually changing my mind because here we have got a coach that is not ambitious. That is not even. We have spoken about it. When you want a team to actually perform well, you want to be in sync with the fans. You want to be in sync with the administrators. You want to be in sync with your players. You want to be in sync with everybody. Everyone must believe. Just like you guys with Liverpool, you believe. Everybody around Liverpool believe. So now he is already telling us that he doesn't believe. What does he has planted a seed that we can't believe. As fans, we can't believe. So why must we go to Baba Fuse to go and support these Warriors when you know that the coach himself doesn't believe?
Do you think, though, Alois, that will be the same message he's giving to the players? Because he could be, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, he could be trying to diffuse pressure, the pressure of expectation. So you say certain things in the media space, but who knows what he's going to say to the players? I would love a coach who actually says, you know what, guys, listen, it's going to be very difficult, but if he's in the changing room and he's saying to the players, you know what, we're going out there to win. I believe in you guys. You guys are the best. You're as good as Ghana. Could it be that scenario where he's trying to remove the pressure?
The players are reading this thing. The players are reading this thing. They also read the newspapers. By the time he gets to the changing room, he won't be able to convince some of them because they would have already have a set mind that the coach doesn't believe in this. Already there are players right now who have got second thoughts about the coach, just like me. And the very funniest thing is that his mandate is to qualify for the World Cup. So he is basically saying, I'm just here for the straw, because we're not going to qualify and I'm leaving, because he was given a mandate that if you don't qualify for the World Cup, you're packing your bags and going. So he basically saying, I'm going after the World Cup.
Just to further put the listeners into the picture, when Alois says that he's just here for the straw, there are 10 groups for qualification for the World Cup. The top teams will progress to the next round of qualification, which is a playoff edition. So if Zimbabwe finishes in second place, it means we will not qualify for the World Cup. Barry, you were just about to leave
I wanted to say, Mike, I know exactly where you're coming from. You're coming from a perspective that you're deflecting pressure. You're, as a coach, you're saying things that take pressure away from your team and allow your team to work. You can do that if you're a sitting coach. If this is the first time that you're making any sort of public utterances as the coach of any team, let alone the nation of Zimbabwe, you've got to make the positive noises that the fans want to hear. The first thing that the players and the fans are reading is that you don't feel that the squad, the team, are good enough to take on Ghana and win. And that is the wrong message to send altogether.
Mark, you buy into that? Because there's a school of thought that would say, and it's an unpopular opinion, but it must be stated, that he's just a realist. He's just a cold-blooded realist who's calling a spade like a spade. So Ghana is a better team. Well, every team must have a coach. What do you mean, why is he here?
So we should have just put him.
I hear what you're saying, Mike. I hear what you're saying. But I'm also hearing what Barry's saying. And not that I'm defending it, but I'm hearing what Barry's saying in that, you can't... He hasn't even really got into the job. Golly, he hasn't even got a work permit yet. No. And he's saying things like, had he been in the job for a year or 6 months, even 6 months, maybe he's got room to say that. For me, I'll just be shutting up. I mean, yes, what you're saying, Mike, is correct. He's looking at it as a realist. Ghana have been to the World Cup 3 times. How many World Cups have we been to?
Can I leap in? Can I leap in?
We will always qualify for every World Cup, yet we've never been to any.
I want to give a diametric opposite. The Zambian FUZ, the Zambian Football Association, unveiled Michu as their coach. The things that he was saying in his first press conference, he talked about the passion of the fans, the way the fans in Zambia love the game, the fact that he's going to apply himself and make sure that Zambia is placed to the best of their ability. He didn't say, we're going to qualify, but he said this team, this crop of players, together with the fans, can do something that'll shake the continent.
I'm going to throw you guys a curveball. Now, this story and those quotes coming out of a Ghana publication, SoccerNet, could we also not be falling victim to Ghanaian mind games? Because this could all have been lost in translation. He might not have actually said anything that remotely resembles this, because
that I can buy into.
I have to be wary of stories of a newly appointed Zimbabwean coach who's taking charge of Zimbabwe in a World Cup qualifying group that has Ghana, and then we have stories coming out of Ghana telling us that the coach doesn't believe in you.
I don't know. We would want to hear the source of the story.
It's SoccerNet in Ghana.
And him confirming it.
It's coming out of Ghana.
So we hang in there. We hang in there, but it has been thrown there. Who has disputed it? Did he come out and dispute it? He hasn't. Because he should know that this is not going to be right for me, for my reputation. Why hasn't this come? This is not yesterday's story. This is last week's story. He hasn't come out to defend himself. So it's okay with him.
He's packing his bags in Croatia. Come on, man. Give him a chance.
And then I wanted to respond to what you said, Mike, that you wanted to diffuse pressure. You don't do that when you are so direct. You give hope. You actually tell the people that I believe Ghana are the favorites, but like Rob said, but with better preparation, we can have a
we
go
can
at
fight.
it.
We can challenge.
Yes, we can take them on. We've got a good crop of players, a golden generation that can take this Ghana side on.
What has he done now when he says that?
Okay, so the debate is raging in studio. We want to hear from you because you are the biggest stakeholder when it comes to the Warriors. Get in touch with us on 0731 168 045. Logarisic says Zimbabwe not good enough to qualify. Likelihood we're battling with Bafana to finish second behind Ghana. Is that the realistic case, or is this a coach who's beaten before he even starts the job? That number again, 0731 168 045. It's the most exciting show anywhere on radio. It is ZiFM Sports.
Hi, my name is Ovidi Karuru, Zimbabwe, and I'm a Zulu player. You are listening to ZiFM Sports.
Let's give you a local sports news roundup where in rugby, Zimbabwe women's rugby team head coach Derek Chiwara says this year's Hermanus Sevens tournament to be held in South Africa will be crucial in building a team for the future. Last year, Zimbabwe produced some impressive performances at the tournament where they scooped silver after finishing second. This trip to South Africa for the tournament will mark the beginning of a 4-year plan in which Zimbabwe will be hoping to become a dominant force in Africa and at major international competitions. In netball news, Zimbabwe Netball Association President Letitia Chipandu says that they are being guided by their constitution in terms of when they can have elections for executive posts. Zina were in November directed to register and recognize the Glow Petroleum sponsored Rainbow Netball Amateur League and also hold elections by the 31st of January. This followed accusations by netball stakeholders that the association lacked professionalism and transparency. We end in the top tier of domestic football, the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, where FC Platinum are looking to set the bar even higher for themselves despite their disappointing show in the just ended CAF Champions League campaign. The Platinum Miners finished bottom for the second time on the bounce in the group stages, and the club's leadership are worried by the lack of progress in Africa. They have another campaign waiting for them in August, but before that they have to contend with the start of their title defense at home. Club chairperson Evans Mtombeni said they were set to convene a meeting with the technical team led by Henrik de Jong to map the way forward.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Right, the first ODI between New Zealand and India got underway today, and an unbeaten century from veteran batsman Ross Taylor powered New Zealand to a stunning 4-wicket win over India in their first ODI in Hamilton. The hosts completed the second highest run chase in their history to finish on 348 for 4 to overhaul the imposing target set by India. It was a moral-boosting victory for the Black Caps, who went into the match as underdogs after a 5-0 whitewash in the recent T20 series. So India 347 for 4, Iyer 103, Rahul 88 not out, Kohli 51, Saudi picking up 285. India thought it would be enough. New Zealand got there 348 for 6, Taylor 109 not out, Nichols 78, Latham 69, Yadav 2 for 84. Let's hear from the man of the match, New Zealand batsman Ross Taylor.
It's been an interesting summer, so to speak, and it was nice to get across the line. Different format, different series, and I think there was a lot of contributions throughout the top order, and even with the ball, I thought to restrict them to under 350 gave us a chance. We were fortunate with the right left-hand combination throughout the innings that we were able to target that short boundary, and Tom to come in there wasn't easy to start, but I thought the way he came in there and targeted that short boundary, released a lot of pressure off me, and that innings was fantastic. I told the boys before, it's sleeping in your own bed, and Saudi said, why don't you take that bed round with you? So we'll just have to wait and see, but no, it's been a happy hunting ground for me, but it's only one game. We've still got a long way to go in the series, and hopefully we can put a good performance in again at Eden Park.
Certainly a relief for New Zealand, Mike, because they lost the T20 series 5-0, but I don't want to say they were outplayed, because they played some good cricket in the T20 series, but India just seemed to, where it mattered, get it right and get the victory. I know in the last two games, New Zealand actually should have won them, and India just came out and they really sorted New Zealand out in the latter stages of those games. So you can't say it was a whitewash. I mean, yes, it was a whitewash, but New Zealand played well.
Yeah.
I think this is a good start for New Zealand in this series, and I think India will be a little bit disappointed, because I think they did enough. They thought they had done enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's very little to separate these sides. You're right that the 5-0 scoreline in the T20 series was slightly deceptive, because if you didn't watch the series, you would think that India totally outplayed New Zealand. But those matches were really close contests, and in 2 or 3 of them, New Zealand should have got over the line. In this match here, again, very little separating the sides, but New Zealand did the right thing. They went hell for leather in the chase, meaning that when they had a wobble late on, in the last 10 overs, when they lost 3 wickets, as they were now steaming towards victory, that wasn't affecting them too much. They didn't have too many runs on the board to really put scoreboard pressure on the late middle order batsmen when they came in. So they did really well. And of course, the man who held everything together, Ross Taylor, very experienced campaigner, that 109 not out. He's the player who got them over the line. So kudos to them. 347 for 4 by India. I thought that they could have at least, tried to add 20, because in New Zealand, 320, 330.
It's small grounds, eh?
Yeah, it's par for the course. So 347 was something that New Zealand, I think, were confident if they got the right start, they could get.
Yeah. Let's quickly hear from Virat Kohli, who was gracious in defeat, saying India produced a decent performance that was just not good enough on the day.
Well, it was, I think, an outstanding performance by New Zealand. Credit has to be given where it's due, and I think they batted outstandingly well. We thought 348 was good enough, especially with the start we got as well with the ball. We were patient enough to get a couple of wickets and then got a run out in there as well. But then I think Ross obviously is the most experienced player now that, Kane is not there as well. Even then, he's the most experienced batsman they have. But I think Tom's innings for me was something that took the momentum away from us after Nichols got out. And yeah, as I said, those 2 in the middle overs were simply unstoppable, and credit to them, the way they batted in the areas they hit, it made life very difficult for our bowlers.
The Indian captain Virat Kohli gracious in defeat. Right, the second ODI in the series will be in Auckland at Eden Park this coming Saturday.
Hello, my name is Ibn Etzewith. I play for the Stormers and the Springboks. You're listening to ZiFM.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where the Hurricanes are in Argentina preparing to take on the Jaguares, but they took some time to hit back at Stormers coach John Dobson, who criticised their tactics in their loss this past weekend. The match was blighted by several off-the-ball niggles, and Dobson made it clear that he was upset by the tactics employed by the New Zealanders, who lost 27-0. Hurricanes assistant coach Chris Gibbs said he was taken aback by Dobson's comments and said that the Stormers were also guilty of dirty tactics. Over to Belgrade. World number one Novak Nole Djokovic admits he's now prioritizing Grand Slams after winning his 8th Australian Open title at the weekend. The Serb recovered from a mid-match slump to defeat Dominic Thiem in the final at Melbourne Park, keeping the younger generations excluded from the Grand Slam winners' circle once again. Djokovic, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer have now won all of the last 13 majors, with Stan Wawrinka the last to break the stranglehold at the US Open in 2016. And we touch down in Texas, stateside. The Houston Rockets acquired the Minnesota Timberwolves' Robert Covington and traded center Clint Capella to the Atlanta Hawks as part of a 4-team, 12-player deal, that NBA's most expensive trade in nearly 20 years. So the Timberwolves acquired 2 first-round picks, including Houston's 2020 pick, which they moved on to the Denver Nuggets for guard Malik Beasley and forward Juan Hernangomez. For the Rockets, they keep the flexibility of $12 million in cap space that allows them to expand this trade between now and Thursday's trade deadline day.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day.
No better way to kickstart your day than with Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. All you need to do is slap some into a bowl, simply mix it with warm milk or water, and give it a bit of a stir, and then you'll enjoy the goodness of a healthy, tasty porridge. Now, every day right here on ZiFM Sport, if you've been listening, Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge dishes out the daily sports trivia. We've been asking you to send in those hashtags, and we've got one lucky caller, one lucky listener on the line.
Right, let's go to our phone line. Let's say good evening to Tadiwa Sakala. Good evening, Tadiwa.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How's your day been? All right?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been raining this side, so it's been a good day.
Oh, where are you calling from?
Bulawayo.
Hey, nice to have some rain in Bulawayo. Well done. Are you a football supporter?
Yes, I am an avid fan of Chelsea.
An avid fan of Chelsea. Okay. Right, well, let's see if we can make you a winner this evening. Now, question number 1, Tadiwa. Which AFCON edition did the Warriors beat Ghana 2-1?
The 2006 one.
Oh, yo!
Oh.
Go, Tadiwa. Go, boy.
Go. Right, okay. Question number 2. Which national cricket side is nicknamed the Black Caps? Is it... Oh! You're on fire, Tadiwa.
Doesn't need clues.
No clues for you, Tadiwa. Congratulations. You're a winner, and you'll be going into our draw. So be sure to carry on tuning in to ZiFM Stereo. And the main thing is be sure to get some Perlenta Nutri-Active Porridge to kickstart your day.
Okay, sure.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Perlenta Nutri-Active Instant Porridge. Kickstart your day. A decade of dominance. Lewis Hamilton, Callisto Pasua, and of course, Serena Williams.
Irresistible, majestic, and the judgment of history will surely be that she was in a class of her own.
A decade of surprises. The Springboks in Japan, the Gems in Liverpool, and Ranieri's Leicester City.
Where's Morgan? Claudio Ranieri. Lift the trophy to the skies. Leicester City are the champions of the Premier League. 5,000 to watch on. They have stunned the football world.
A decade of goodbyes. Hamilton Masakadza, Richie McCaw, Usain Bolt.
Watch the clock, it's goal for Bolt, and again, he's done it again. They say lightning doesn't strike twice.
A decade of comebacks. Barcelona versus PSG. Hard life, Shirekwi. Tiger Woods.
This is going to be the completion of one of the great comebacks in any sport all time. The return to glory.
It was a decade of sheer thrills, spills, and excitement as the world came out to play. And in 2020, we go again. Bigger, better, and even more exciting on your favorite show, ZiFM Sport. Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
WhatsApp number 0731168045. That's 0731168045. You could be like Brighton Dube, who's got in touch on our WhatsApp platform. He's in Kwadzana Extension. He says, guys, if Reinhard Fabish didn't believe we would not have beaten Cameroon, Egypt, etc., this so-called coach is full of it. And he doesn't put it in that way.
Yeah.
I just made it fit for radio.
Did he put an emoticon?
No, he didn't.
The one that looks like a splurge of chocolate.
Of chocolate. No, he didn't. He says he's the one who is not fit to coach the Warriors. So fans kind of upset. This one says...
Can I go to Twitter here?
Yeah, sure.
Tatita Jokonya has come through and he says, guys, 2 questions. Question number 1. Has he ever qualified for the AFCON finals with any team? Question 2. Has he ever won any league titles with any team?
No.
He then goes to say, I rest my case. We're headed for a major disaster. That message coming through from Tatenda Jokonya. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, let's go to Mr. Moyo. He says, fire him and his boss, Kamambo. So he reckons they must all go. That would be a solution. Jack Makate in the Grange says, this is a joke. We are better off with the local coaches before we regret. That's Jack Makate in the Grange in Harare. Hakuna coach akadaro. That's Tafadzwa Kumakuti.
My sentiments, exactly.
This one says, ZiFM Sports Team, I sincerely hope the new coach is playing mind games with Ghana. Let's give him a chance. I doubt he would make such a statement without an ace up his sleeves. That's Otis from Skies. Otis, I wonder what's feeding your optimism.
He's a believer. Jonik Gwatiwa says, well, personally, I'm neither here nor there because we haven't been doing well under foreign coaches. Only time will tell what this gentleman can add to our cause as a football nation.
Yeah.
Only amateurs can be hoodwinked by such a mind game anyway.
Yeah,
This is a professional football. This is a professional It's a silly mind game.
Jumi in Pumula South in Bulawayo says, I'm supporting Bunjira. The coach has showed us that we might have made a mistake bringing him in, and I can't go to BF to watch the game knowing that we will come second. This is our chance to go to Qatar. If I can ask, guys, Bunjira, this is for you. Mkokeli Dube back at Boso. Will he be able to bang in goals for Boso? That's a question to you.
I don't know. He's an experienced player. He can bang it. It all depends with his legs. If his legs can still carry him, he will. What I know about Nkokeli Dube is that he makes very good runs. I like it. If he combines well with Prince Dube, defenders might just be in trouble because he is the one to guide Prince Dube, and I think that with him up front and Prince, they can actually make a very formidable
it would be a good combination because remember the last time Prince Dube played with another veteran, Ralph Matema. It worked because Ralph was able to work as the target man. He was able to play as the foil with the Prince Dube playing in and around him, and it worked. And also there are rumors that Obadiah Tarumbwa as well could be taking his maverick talents back to Ireland. He's the player I like. He lacks discipline, but he is a gifted player, Obadiah. He's underachieved. He could have done great things, but discipline just let him down.
Good player and very intelligent as well. Wilson in Glenora says, hi guys, I think that's why our coach is nomadic. He is not ambitious, and obviously clubs cannot keep someone who is always fighting for a wooden spoon. The ZiFA board should call him to order on this one because it's unacceptable and sends the wrong signals to
You can't be
call
him to order before he arrives. You won't come. This fella. Remember we talked about this guy. Well, what is one of the things we highlighted? We say that he's unpredictable. And he's also got issues around his temperament. So that's the maverick type of guy that the ZiFA employed. And we questioned this appointment and we say, you know what, guys, look at him. I remember Poz and Barry. You were particular about that. Look, he's never spent more than a season in any single job. The longest time he's spent is 1.5 years as the head coach of Sudan. And we know the stories that have come through from Goma here. The stories that have come through from Ghana, etc. He's a very difficult character. So this is a guy that they're going to have to manage and watch what he says, especially in the media space.
And the problem is what he has said now, he has sent negative signals to everybody all over the country.
Before the job even starts.
Like Poz said, before he even gets a work permit. And guess what might happen? You remember the Sanford story? There was a public outcry about Sanford and people didn't want him. Do you know what happened? Immigration took over.
Yes. Yeah, but you know what? For me, I didn't support that angle from immigration. Because they got involved in a matter, and I hope they weren't used, because I would like to see football issues remain strictly football issues, you know. Right now, FIFA, if they feel the need to fire him, they should fire him. But they're probably going to have to pay him if he signed a contract.
They have to pay him now.
Right, let's read one more here. Mr. T says, I'm a die-hard Man United fan. He says, hi guys, I love this show. I believe the playing down approach and being an underdog is cool. The Zimbabwe team is like taking on Bolton Wanderers and saying you'll win the Premier League. Also undermining the players.
Nah, that's too much, man. We can
let him finish.
He's got a point. He's got a point.
Says, I don't think so.
He doesn't have a point.
He says also undermining the players can motivate them to prove you wrong.
No,
and not to be overconfident. No, Mr. T.
How do you motivate players by undermining them?
Don't be too quick to dismiss him, guys.
No,
we are not a Man City on Africa.
No, we're not.
I think when he says
we are Chelsea,
we're like I think we're like West Ham United.
No, in our groups. In our group.
No, but our group has got 4. I'm talking about the continent.
Yeah.
If I had to look at the continent, I think we're like a Villa.
Footsack, no.
But it's sad when you sit here.
They're going down.
You're undermining us.
It's really sad when
like the coach.
I think we're a Villa.
It's really sad. It's really sad when we sit here and saying that we are like a Villa when there was a time that we were actually number 7 in Africa.
Yes.
You know, it's very sad. What has happened to us? That's what we need to dig deep and look at it and say we are laughing at ourselves. How did we get here?
Yes, I agree. Remember, Villa was one of the biggest teams.
Exactly. How did they get there?
Absolutely.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wanted!
Right now, Barcelona have been plunged into controversy where after Lionel Messi publicly called out the sporting director Eric Abidal, challenging him to name names and accusing him of tarnishing the player's reputation. The Argentine furiously reacted to what he saw as Abidal's attempt to lay the blame for the recent sacking of Ernesto Valverde with the players and demanded the Frenchman take responsibility for his own decisions. His outburst is all the more significant because Messi has a clause in his contract which enables him to unilaterally walk away for free at the end of the season. Let's hear from football journalist Gabriel Marcotti, who says Messi's reaction opens up a number of possibilities.
There's 3 possible outcomes here. One is that Abidal says, whoa, hang on, I was misquoted. There was confusion. I really apologize. I shouldn't have been talking. I'm very sorry, Leo. Let's put this behind us. And another possibility is that Jose Maria Bartomeu, who is the Barcelona president. Remember, you don't become Barcelona president by acquiring a controlling stake in the club. You do it by being elected. There's elections in 2021. They could be moved forward a year, given the fact that the club is a zoo right now. Bartomeu could come out and say, look, sorry, Eric, you're out of here. Because Bartomeu knows full well that, any candidate who runs against him and has Messi's backing and Bartomeu is out. There's no question about that. But the third possibility is that Messi says, you know what? I've just kind of had enough here. He's talked about wanting to end his career in Barcelona, but he's also said that, he doesn't want a contract for life at Barcelona. He could just say, enough of this, enough of the nonsense, enough of the pressure, let me go and try my hand somewhere else. That guy Cristiano did it. It's not the end of the world. Maybe it's something I want to do.
All right. Well, to those who haven't heard the story, Abidal claimed that Barcelona's players had not been happy with Valverde, who was sacked on the 13th of January, and that they had not been working hard enough under their former manager. The response from Messi was swift, public, and unequivocal. This is an interesting one that potentially could go either way. How does this play out, Bunch, in your view?
I don't know. When I look at Messi, if I was Messi, I think it's time to say goodbye. to Barcelona and join another team in Europe.
Mike, there's a statement in football, in the football kingdom, and it's the Barcelona way. This is not the Barcelona way. And so in a fight and a tussle between Eric Abidal and Lionel Messi, who wins?
There's only one winner, that one, and that's Lionel Messi, because
exactly.
the development this afternoon was that Abidal has been called for a meeting with the club president, where the riot act is going to be read to him.
Definitely.
So already the club president has chosen to back Lionel Messi.
Yeah, to back Messi.
And I think it was a bit folly of Abidal to come out publicly and say the things that he did. And a lot of people look at Abidal as actually part of the problem, because as the director of football, I think you have to say that he hasn't recruited well at Barcelona.
Agreed.
Look at the failed signings in terms of performance of Coutinho, for example. Take a look at Dembele. You know, they spent big money on players who haven't come and given them the same level of performance that Neymar gave them, because those were all attempts to close the gap that was left by Neymar, and they failed. And listen, those are big investments. Those players came in for 120 and 130 million respectively. Okay, so that's big money. That was close to world record level. So Abidal himself is also responsible. Lionel Messi made it very clear he wanted Neymar back at Barcelona. Abidal wasn't able to close out that deal. So I think you can see where the tension is already, because Lionel Messi, I think, feels that you haven't put players around me that are good enough to assist me in challenging
to dominate,
for the best
trophies.
That's the simple thing. The simple question, and that's Messi, where the friction is coming from.
And Messi's got a point, Poz, because if you look at Barcelona recently, there are deeper problems apart from just it being it's the playing staff, it's the management. They have something to deal with, which relates to the way that Barcelona plays, and you've got to put that squarely at Eric Abidal's office door, because he's the one who's in charge of recruitment. He's in charge of maintaining the Barcelona way.
I believe that I don't know when this meeting's taking place, Mark, but
it took place this afternoon.
It took place this afternoon. Maybe there's going to be something developing there. I've got a feeling that Abidal's going to be given the boot.
I think so too.
And also, when you look at Abidal, was he the right person for the job?
I think he was out of his depth right from the beginning.
Sentimental to that. He didn't grow up there. He didn't grow up there, so he doesn't have that sentimental value about the values of Barcelona. He doesn't really know what La Masia is all about. He never grew up there. So I think it was more sentimental because of the sickness and all that, because he played a few years there, but he was never the right call for that job.
All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back here's Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudence. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
Right, let's go to the FA Cup replay results from last night. Birmingham City 2, Coventry 2. Birmingham winning 4-1 on penalties. Cardiff and Reading drawing 3-3. Reading winning 4-1 on penalties. Derby County 4-2 winners over Northampton Town. That means Wayne Rooney will get a fifth-round tie against his former club Manchester United. Oxford United 2, Newcastle United 3, and then Liverpool 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Now Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp sent messages of congratulations after staying away from Anfield as Liverpool's youngest ever side beat Shrewsbury in the FA Cup fourth-round replay. The manager and his squad were controversially absent on their scheduled mid-season break, but the Germans still maintained contact with the coaching staff and the players and had able deputy in James Milner offering his experience and expertise at close quarters. Let's hear from the under-23 head coach Neil Critchley, who says the team fully deserved the FA Cup win over Shrewsbury.
The maturity in which those young boys showed to play that game was remarkable. They actually calmed me on the side, and I think over 90 minutes I think we had the better chances and were just about the deserved winners on the night. Yeah, the boss was in touch this afternoon with some words of advice and encouragement, which was really nice of him. And I had a little message. I've not checked my phone yet, but we had a message from the staff at the end there that he's absolutely delighted with the performance and he's buzzing. So we've given him a game against Chelsea away to look forward to.
What a performance, guys. You got to say, I mean, this under-23 side, a lot of them not even 20. I mean, it was truly a remarkable performance. A fifth-round tie awaits against Chelsea. Lots of speculation about this game and the FA, that Liverpool are not respecting the FA Cup. But guys, 54,000 people at Anfield last night.
I thought the FA disrespected the FA Cup yesterday.
Yes.
After all the
They
talk
did it
about
themselves.
Liverpool, I thought they did it themselves. That very immature ban on broadcasting.
Yeah, very petty.
That was very petty from the FA. Liverpool was sold. The Anfield Stadium was sold out yesterday. The community
That's the
came
magic
out.
of the cup.
Yeah,
In fact,
they missed an advert.
the stats from the four replays that were played yesterday, Liverpool's crowd, was bigger than all the other three stadiums put together. Combined.
There we go.
So when you talk about the magic of the FA Cup, that was the magic of the FA Cup. A full house with a young team that upset the team that people thought was going to win.
Was going to walk
That's
away
the magic,
with it, yeah.
magic of the FA Cup. When people talk about upsets, etc., this is it.
Yeah.
Those youngsters now are in the shop window. Yeah. Those youngsters now have enhanced their own individual reputations and that of the club.
Yeah.
Liverpool will play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the next round.
100%.
And that is what football is all about.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. That is development at its best.
Yeah.
100%. What a performance.
What a performance in action tonight. Midfielder Dele Alli has a chance of featuring in Spurs FA Cup fourth round replay at Southampton. That's according to Spurs boss Jose Mourinho. The England midfielder Ali was injured by a Raheem Sterling tackle during Sunday's 2-0 win over Man City. He was able to play on before being replaced but Mourinho, who believes Sterling should have been sent off, says Ali could still play versus the Saints. So that'll be a big boost, Barry, for Tottenham Hotspur. I want to talk about Ali in a different sense, though, because he's a player, I believe, during the months of February, March and April is going to be playing for his England career. England has now produced a number of midfielders. I think we can safely say that Raheem Sterling and Jordan Henderson are a shoo-in in midfield.
Yeah.
But there's now a new crop of youngsters that have come. Jack Grealish, your Maddisons, your Mason Mounts. All those players are playing well at the moment, and Dele Alli is not an automatic selection.
Yeah, and he would have been and was in previous years.
Yeah.
So as a result of that new burgeoning talent that's coming through, I agree with you that he's got to stay fit, number one. Number two, he's got to put in the performances. Sadly, recently, he hasn't.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Let's give you the DFB Pokal results. Kaiserslautern, you remember that team?
Yes, Kaiserslautern.
Yes. Well, they were beaten 5-2 by Fortuna Düsseldorf. And they're out of the cup. Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1 over Red Bull Leipzig. Schalke 3-2 winners over Hertha Berlin. Werder Bremen prevailing over Borussia Dortmund 3-2. Dortmund dumped out of the cup. Now, Borussia Dortmund manager Lucien Favre has been blamed for the team's loss to Werder Bremen after opting not to start in-form striker Erling Haaland in their DFB Pokal round of 16 encounter. Haaland continued his remarkable scoring record for Borussia Dortmund, but could not stop his side suffering a shock German Cup third round exit. Former Liverpool player and football pundit Steve Nicol says Haaland should start for Borussia Dortmund.
I've got a wacky idea here. Why don't you start him from the kick-off?
That's right.
Instead of waiting for him to be 2 down and 3 down every time. The guy looks head and shoulders above anybody else on the field going forward for either side, but yet he's still not starting them. I don't get that. It's a combination of talent and good coaching and training and a little bit of experience. You know, even though he is only 19, he's played quite a lot of football.
Z.
Now there's a new idea, isn't there? Bunch, if a player is scoring, get him from the start.
Yeah, get him on. Let him grow in there. He is scoring. What? Like,
yeah.
What is it? Why are you keeping it?
I think they're blooding him though. I think they were blooding him in, but I think by now, after 3 matches, I think he was good enough to be starting matches. He's playing Champions League football. He's right up there. They need him. Play him and let him score.
Yeah. DFB Pokal fixtures for tonight. Bayer Leverkusen take on Stuttgart. Werl will host Union Berlin. Saarbrücken will take on Karlsruhe, and then Bayern Munich will take on Hoffenheim. That is your DFB Pokal action for tonight. So if you're interested in German football, go ahead and tune in to those games.
Okay, let's give you a quick update out of Italy, and there is action tonight. It is Spal, who of course will be taking on Lazio. Lazio with an opportunity to move. In fact, Lazio is taking on Hellas Verona, and of course they will be having the opportunity, if they win, to climb above Inter Milan. That is the Serie A action from tonight.
And the action on the show is over. We gotta go. We'll catch you tomorrow. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.